Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Bear River Blogger, and today I was out on the Bear River Migratory Bird Refuge on the auditory route, doing a little bird photography. And for those of you guys who aren't familiar with that area, I'll throw a link down in the description below. But what I wanted to show you is, on my way back, I saw something that's quite interesting, pretty unique, I think. What we're looking at here, this is the Bear River itself, and on the other side of the river, there's these 3 or 4 trees, and I took some pictures with my big camera. I'll put them on this video so you can see them better. But those trees have got great egrets in them. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's at least a dozen of them in there. And the reason that this is unique is when you get on the Audubon Society's website and also Cornell University's All About Birds, neither one of them show Utah as an area that the great egrets actually, use. They actually come through. They're not even through migration. It's in Nevada, southwestern Idaho, and further on the west coast. So they're not really supposed to be here, I guess you'd say. But we get them a little bit in the spring and a little bit in the fall here in northern Utah. And I've never really seen them group up like this, especially sitting in the tops of these trees like this. I thought it was kind of unique to see this like this, but great egrets are kind of uncommon to find in Utah. I do see them occasionally. I have seen them once in a while in the summertime, but they do mainly come like they're migrating through. It's fall now, so I guess they're migrating back south. They're very common in South America, and they do winter down in Mexico and so forth. But they're not as common here in Utah as I used to think, because I'm like, why aren't we seeing great egrets? But when I started researching it, they're not typically, this isn't within their range. Idaho and Nevada is for the migration, but Utah is not listed as their normal range. Now, birds tend to expand their range, so it's not uncommon for this to happen, but I don't really remember seeing this many great egrets in one place at one time. Usually, most of the time, I guess I'd say, it's one here, one there, not a dozen or more sitting in the tops of these trees. So I just thought this was kind of unique, and hopefully you can see this. Like I said, I'll throw some pictures on this video to show you a little close-up of what I'm talking about if you can't see them, because I'm recording this on my phone, because I just happened to be driving by and saw this, all those great egrets sitting on the trees, and I thought it was pretty cool. So it's one of the things I like coming out of the Bear River Bird Refuge is you never know what to expect. I didn't expect to see a dozen great egrets in these trees like this. I didn't even see one anywhere today, even on the refuge. It's pretty uncommon for me to see one on the refuge. I've seen one here or there this fall. I think total I've maybe seen like 4 or 5 this whole year. So to see a dozen of them in the trees like this is pretty unique and pretty uncommon out here for northern Utah. But I just thought it was interesting. What also is interesting is you go further to the tree over there to the right, and there's a great blue heron sitting on the top of that tree. These birds are colony birds, and they nest in these. They'll nest in trees like this. They're called rookeries, so it's not uncommon, I guess, to see them like this. But it is uncommon to see these great egrets like this in northern Utah, in numbers like this with a dozen of them. It is fall migration, so I'm sure that's why they're grouped up. But to see them here in Utah like this, for me anyway, this is the first time I've ever seen it like this, and I think this is pretty cool. So I just want to stop and show you this. So if you're coming out to the Bear River Bird Refuge here in the next few days, few weeks while fall migration is going on, look for the great egrets. You might get lucky and find 1 or 2, or like today, you might get lucky like today, like I did, and find a whole dozen of them sitting in the trees, which I think is pretty cool. So anyway, I hope these little video updates help you out if you come to the Bear River Bird Refuge and what to look for. Feel free to subscribe to this channel and head on over to bearriverblogger.com, and you can follow us and subscribe to that as well. And we'll catch you on the next video update.